TreVeyon, Henderson, and Quinshon Judkins lead a top-heavy, inexperienced running back room.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Buckeye fans, to a Monday edition of Locked On Buckeyes here on Monday, May the 6th in the year 2024. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. One thing about the month of May in the former city I used to live in Indianapolis, the month of May it starts off with a bang, and then it leads up to a bigger bang at the end of the month. You got the mini marathon the first Saturday in the month. You got a big party to kind of kick off the month of May down there at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you got IndyCar racing. And you have Pacers playoffs. And right now, you got the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. There's a lot of buzz in the air right now in Indianapolis. A lot of you had excitement and a similar buzz when Quinshon Judkins announced at the conclusion of the national championship that he would be transferring to The Ohio State University. No longer playing for Ole Miss. He's going to be playing in Columbus. And I was excited. We were all excited. And if Dallin Hayden stayed at Ohio State, my thoughts and our outlook and our approach to analyzing this room would be completely different. Maybe the same approach, but a different outcome. With Judkins in and Henderson in and Hayden out, this room is top-heavy and also inexperienced. Think about what you have right now. You got the two guys at the top, in Henderson and Judkins. Both have over 2,700 rushing yards for their careers. Judkins has 2,725. Henderson has 2,745. Henderson has one more rushing touchdown than Judkins for his career, 32 to Judkins, 31. And then what else do you have? One guy's averaging 5 yards a carry in Judkins. The other guy is averaging 5.51 for their careers in Henderson. Very, very top heavy. Now, you look at the top 5 guys in this room, which Ryan Day says they want 5, and that's how I'm going to analyze them. I'm going to use what Ryan Day says to analyze and see if they actually have what Ryan Day wants. They don't have 5. I can't say that right now because among the other guys, 2 of them are true freshmen, just got on campus in James Peoples and Sam Williams-Dixon. TC Coffey got hurt, didn't play a year ago, only has played in 2 games, has 10 carries, 66 rushing yards, 6.6 yards a pop, and 1 touchdown for his career. Now, if I were to tally up all of the numbers, combining them for Henderson and combining them for Judkins, you would see this inexperience could be a problem for the Buckeyes. And I think many of you, then when you're thinking about the room, you're like, oh, great, it's cool, it's heavy, it's top heavy, it's cool. Only play 2 guys. Nobody in their right mind thinks they're going to only play 2 guys because based off how things have gone at Ohio State, not just since Henderson got to school, go back to the year before, even Trey Sermon got hurt in the national championship. Wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game. I still think Alabama would have smoked the Buckeyes. But what do you find? You're still finding an area in a situation where the Buckeyes need more than 2 running backs, more than 3 running backs. On that inexperienced part, I don't know how it's going to sit. And if the Buckeyes are truly right now comfortable rolling with this 5 into the upcoming season. Because let's just say this is what they do. If they roll on with this 5. And I think the lineup for the room right now, you got Henderson at 1, you got Judkins at 2, probably James Peoples at 3, TC Coffey at 4, and Sam Williams-Dixon at 5. I think that's the hierarchy of this room right now. What do you find? Even if it's TC Coffey, who is 3, and James Peoples at 4, what do you find? You're really inexperienced. And as Brian Smith says on here all the time, one of the toughest things for guys that don't have much experience on the football field, of course, we're always highlighting the high school recruits or maybe a incoming freshman like Peoples. One of the hardest things to do as a running back is pass protect. Now, that goes for any position out there. Like, I'm not just saying it's running back. It's just hard for them. No. If you're an offensive lineman, if you're a tight end, whatever position, if you're a receiver, blocking is hard to begin with. You're trying to literally push somebody against their own will. And they're reacting to something that you can't see that what's going on behind you. So you may be trying to block one way. Oh, you whiffed. Why? Because what you thought was happening behind you was not exactly what was supposed to happen. The person you're blocking gets around you and makes a tackle. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. I trust Carlos Loughlin, not based off what's happened at Ohio State, based off what he's done at Oregon, what he did at Oregon. I do believe you can trust him to put the right guys and to develop the right guys at Ohio State during this upcoming season. The thing is, though, you got amongst the other three, 2 carries, 66 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown that came from TC Coffey a couple years ago. I believe one of those touchdowns, or his touchdown came against Toledo, where it seemed like every running back that played that day got in the end zone. Why? It was just their day. I want to be happy, and I want to go into this offseason and deeper into the offseason truly believing the running backs Ohio State has right now on their team, that it's the right group of 5. I can't do that, though. I can't, and I don't want to sit here and start another week off with a negative thought. I just want to provide the proper analysis for you so you know exactly what to think about this room. Talented. Now, here's a positive part. Henderson and Judkins, easily one of the best backfields in the Big Ten Conference. That includes the incoming schools, Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA. Judkins and Henderson are easily 2 of the top running backs in the conference right now, based off the track record of what they've done previously. And honestly, if Henderson didn't get hurt last year, the year before, or he played most of the season in his freshman year, but the past 2 years, if he didn't miss the bulk of games that he did, what are you going to be finding? One, he might not be at Ohio State, but 2, he has over 3,000 total rushing yards. He has over 35 rushing touchdowns, maybe close to 40. You're looking at a guy you're looking at him completely different than we do now. Why? Even though he got hurt, even though he had the flaws, he found a way to stack up and pack in all the yards, more touchdowns, keep his yards per carry up. Right now, it's what? 6.2? His numbers are it's just mind-boggling to think about the issues in his game that he's improved on, the things that he's had to endure while being hurt, and he still put these numbers up in college football. Man. As hard as I've been on Henderson, I can't be hard on him now because I realize if he's healthy and if he keeps progressing in the way that he has, you're looking at a guy that's 1,200 to 1,500 rushing yards in the upcoming season. You're looking at a guy that's 15 to 18 rushing touchdowns in the upcoming season. You're looking at a guy that's going to contribute in the passing game. But he doesn't have to do all those numbers because of the guy who's his running mate in Quinshon Judkins is also a guy that can do the same exact thing. Already done it down at Ole Miss. So the room is top heavy. That's cool. It's inexperienced behind. What player will have to step up for the Buckeyes in the fall to kind of fill in the gap with Hayden out of here? I'll tell you next. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. This episode is brought to you by Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus has the best selection of pool tables, game tables, shuffleboard tables, and more, and the best service in Central Ohio. And guys, Check this out. Billiards Plus carries grills that have up to 30-year warranties. That's right, a grill with a 30-year warranty. Everything you need for in-home and backyard entertainment is at Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus carries the best pool tables from Brunswick, Ahasa, Canada, Billiards, and more. And the grills, whether you like charcoal or gas or wood-fired, Billiards Plus has a perfect setup for all grillers. They're family-owned and operated. And when you talk to the staff at Billiards Plus, you know you're talking to an expert who won't steer you wrong. No matter the season, Billiards Plus has you covered for all your indoor and outdoor entertainment needs. Kenny, Sarah, and the whole staff will always go above and beyond to give you the best customer service in the industry. Billiards Plus. Visit their showroom on Dublin Central Drive in Dublin. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hayden is gone. Not trying to belabor that thought there, but it's the reality. He is not playing football in Columbus anymore. With Hayden gone, and you have the top two guys of Judkins and Henderson, and you got a couple freshmen and a walk-on, and that's left over. Who are the most likely candidates to be RB3? I think that's one of the biggest question marks that I have right now about this room. Who is going to be RB3? I don't really care if Judkins or Henderson starts. I don't. If it's Henderson, great. If it's Judkins, great. Cool. I don't care. Why? They're both really talented. They're both starting running backs in college football. And honestly, they both can get the job done. If one guy goes down, the other one gets more touches. Great, cool. If the other guy goes down, the other guy gets more touches. Cool, great. I truly do not care. I do care about RB3. You know, we'll dive more into the role that this position is going to play here in a second. But I think it's two guys that are at the top right now. And sorry, Sam Williams-Dixon, you're not in this running right now. And we'll explain in a second. I think it's James Peoples or TC Coffee. If it's James Peoples, I am really, really, really nervous. And it's not because of the role that I don't think he will play when he's on the field as far as how talented he'll be. That's not it at all. He is a true freshman. And when you're playing Marshall and Western Kentucky and some of these cupcakes that are out there, some of these small schools, and I know some of y'all might be part of the Thundering Herd. I understand. They upset Notre Dame in Notre Dame Stadium. I understand that. That's cool. I get it. Let's just be honest now. Ohio State ain't Notre Dame. Ohio State didn't play their best game offensively against Notre Dame a year ago. What happened? The Buckeyes got a win. The year before that, the Buckeyes, year one, was it year two, which I think Stroud was the quarterback. What happened? Notre Dame's really good. What happened? Buckeyes still won. So it's not just me saying this as an Ohio State guy. No, on the field, the past couple of years, Ohio State's been better. So when it comes to Peoples, pass pro is tough. When it comes to TC Coffee, another guy who I think is in the running to be RB3, you got the carries, but that was a year ago. You were hurt last year, so it's inexperienced for both guys. But the luxury is they're not going to be asked to do a whole lot. You're not going to ask them to do all the things that you would of other players. No, you're not asking them to be on the field a third of the carries that the team is on the field. No, you're not asking them to do that. It's not going to be broken up into a third. No, it would be nice if that was happening. But I do still think you're probably going to get 75 to 80% of the carries, and the players are going to be maybe even 85% to 90 are going to be between Henderson and Judkins. And what's left over, the 10 to 15 to 20% that's left over, will go to another running back, which makes it easy for you. If you know that somebody struggles in pass pro, then, buddy, don't put them on the field. Now, for the opposition, that's going to be easy. Now, what do you do during the season, though? Work on it. So when it comes down to it, in pass protection is one of those things where you normally want to take him off the field, but he's gotten better to keep him on the field. And the team thinks, oh, mate, this is a run. are the third string running backs on the field. Wrong. Why? Because you've been grinding and working in practice. And I do think there's an importance of having the right person or the right option amongst the ones that are actually options right now to be on the field for the third string running back for the Buckeyes, because you need to have one. Honestly, this isn't even just about the Buckeyes offense right now. You need to have four guys you legitimately trust to play. You need them. What did the Buckeyes have last year? You had TreVeyon Henderson. What did you do? You trusted him. What did you have last year? Mayan Williams, you trusted him. You had Chip Trainum, you trusted him. You have Dallin Hayden, you trusted him. What happened? Life happened. Football happened. You guys get hurt. Things get shuffled. All of a sudden, we need to redshirt a guy. So that's a big decision why he did not play. Hayden's going to be missed. The Buckeyes are really going to miss Chip Trainum this year. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I don't think Quinshon Judkins transferred to Ohio State if Chip Trainum is still there. Now he's in Lexington, Kentucky, and more power to him. I follow him on the Instagram. I follow many guys that aren't Buckeyes anymore on the IG, but I still follow Chip Trainum. And look, Kentucky got a good one. And if this man does what we think he can do on the football field when he is a starting running back, oh my gosh. Woo! Oh my gosh. It's going to be nasty. I'm not saying he's a 2,000-yard rusher. Don't get me wrong. But you ain't got to be a 2,000-yard rusher to do some nasty things on the field in the sport that we love. I am watching this closely. Very, very closely. Not Chip Trainum. Not Evan Pryor, who ended up leaving. The Buckeyes lost 3 running backs in this transfer portal cycle. In the offseason, excuse me. Evan Pryor, Chip Trainum, Dallin Hayden, and you also lost Mayan Williams. So you lost three that transferred. You lost 4 total. It's weird, man. It's very weird to think about. Now, coming up later this week, possibly tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit about the transfer portal and what the Buckeyes lost via the portal. We look at the 6 that just entered the portal. The number's going to be a whole lot larger than you think as far as how many Buckeyes enter the portal this offseason. And we still believe the Buckeyes are going to be one of the best teams in the country, even though they lost over 20 players in the portal this offseason. That's insane to think about. What's also insane to think about is the Buckeyes not going after another running back in the portal. I know the portal's closed. That doesn't mean the Buckeyes can't go out there and snag somebody who is currently in said portal. This episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that, but there is just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. Like unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine, and there's always new timed events to help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. The portal is closed. That does not mean the Buckeyes are not able to go out there and snag a player that's currently in the portal. And I'm a person, when I think about positions, we say it here all the time, but I'll say it again for people that may have missed the show. Maybe you're a new listener. One thing I always say when it comes to positions, the Buckeyes need to consider getting players from offensive line or getting players from the portal for the Buckeyes roster to make it even stronger. Offensive line, yes. Tight end, yes. Linebacker, yes. And running back is on that thing too. Now, if I had to rank them in a hierarchy, didn't think it was going to happen. on this show, but it's at my mind and we can do this thing on the fly. Offensive line is number 1. Linebackers is 2. Tight ends is 3. Running backs is 4. Running backs is 3. Tight ends is 4. So O-line 1, linebackers 2, running backs 3, tight ends 4. I don't think you can trust the two true freshmen or a walk-on who's only played 2 games, 10 carries, 1 touchdown, 66 rushing yards. I don't think you can rush those guys to be the third back. One of them to be the third back consistently for the Buckeyes in the fall, especially with the injuries to the running back room of late. You need to go out there and get somebody. So I was thinking about, who should they get or who could they get to go to the transfer portal that the lovely folks over at 247 Sports keep together and have a great system for us to utilize and to see exactly where things are, who is still available, what school they came from, and if there is a crystal ball for them to go to a school. I'll go 5 through 1 as far as the guys that are currently in the portal and the ranking that 247 Sports has provided for them. The 5th best running back in the portal right now that's still available is Star Thomas. He used to play at New Mexico State. Andrew Paul used to play at Georgia. Trevante Citizen used to play at Miami down in Coral Gables. Isaiah Augustive used to play at Arkansas, and I really like his game. I really like his game. And then the best running back available right now is from Mississippi State, Simeon Price. Now, when I think about all of these guys right now, the transfer portal ranking that 247 Sports has put together, all 5 of those guys have the same rating of 87, a .8700. So they're all very, very similar as far as evaluation and talent and the system that 247 Sports uses in their database to cover the recruiting and the transfer portal. So I don't know if Simeon Price is the one the Buckeyes want to bring in. I like his frame. I like his makeup, 6 foot, 215 pounds. I like what he puts on the film. There's a guy down there in Coral Gables, and Trevante Citizen. We're going to hear from Alex Dono, of the host of Locked On Canes, to hear what Dono had to say about Citizen's game and what the next school will get that Citizen decides to transfer to. Here's Alex Dono of Locked On Canes.
Running back Trevante Citizen is in the transfer portal. I am Alex Dono from Locked On Canes, and Trevante, when it comes to his time at Miami, it's going to go down as a major what if. 4-star running back recruit back in the class of 2022 out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. I remember seeing Citizen for the first time thinking, this guy at 18 years old looks like a future NFL running back, 6 foot tall, 220, around 225 pounds now at this point. Unfortunately, that first fall camp suffered a devastating knee injury, missed his entire first season, suffered a setback to that knee after the first year, missed his entire second season. Citizen has not played a single collegiate snap, but based on what he did in high school, he's got the size, he's got the explosiveness. Well, he had those things. Can he get them back? That's what's yet to be seen. So Citizen's next team is going to be getting a player who has potential to become a featured back. Can he get there? That's yet to be seen.
Trevante Citizen's one of those guys that when I see him play, well, you don't get to do it in college. And I don't think the Buckeyes are going to want to bring in a guy who's going to be a project for them, an unproven guy, extremely inexperienced and battered and bruised, and has multiple injuries in college. I don't think the Buckeyes want to bring a guy like that in, who is currently the 3rd best running back available via 247 Sports that's currently in the transfer portal. I like his frame, 6'1", 220 pounds, has a size a little bit bigger, a little bit sturdier. I like that. But the injuries and lack of playing time, 2 reasons why I don't think he's going to be RB3 for the Buckeyes. I still say they need to go out there and get Isaiah Augustive. He's sitting at 6'2", 208 pounds, ended up playing last year for the Arkansas Razorbacks, played in 11 games, 35 carries, 202 rushing yards, 5.8 yards a pop, 1 touchdown on the ground. 1 total, had 3 receptions and 7 yards via reception last year for the Arkansas Razorbacks. I think when I see Isaiah Augustive's names, there we go. I was trying to say his name and it just didn't come out properly. When I watch him play, I think there is an area for him to grow. Arkansas puts out good players. I'm not going to sit up here and say they don't. Arkansas puts up good guys, but keep this in mind. When he comes to Ohio State, there's two things. Not only will he be the third back, which might mean a lesser role for Augustive, but also if it's a similar role, cool. Quinshon Judkins does not have to go to the NFL next year. So if Isaiah Augustive wants to be a starting running back or a featured back next year, and let's just say Quinshon Judkins wants to play one more year in college football to raise his draft stock as he's a featured back, that hurts Isaiah Augustive and how quickly he could get on the field as a featured back. So, yeah, he's played in 11 games, did some good things there for the Razorbacks, and I really like the film that he put out there a year ago, but I think he's the most likely candidate of the guys that are available for the Buckeyes to go after, but I don't exactly know if it's going to happen. And if it does not, if they stick with what they got, I said it earlier, I'll say it again, buckle up. That's all I got to say. Buckle up, and y'all better hope your seatbelt locks in place so you cannot go anywhere because, man, you're going to be kicking and screaming and fighting and maybe scratching and clawing. Why? Because you're so disgruntled. You're so upset because over and over and over and over and over again, what are we talking about as Ohio State people? Talking about injuries to the running backs. Talking about the injuries to the running backs. This guy's hurt, that guy's hurt, this guy's hurt, that guy's hurt. Why are these guys consistently getting hurt? That's a question I'd love to have answered. I don't have the answer to it, but that's just the way the cookie is crumbling. Buckeyes are getting hurt left and right at running back, quarterback a year ago. Kyle McCord played hurt. Devin Brown got hurt once in the offseason, twice in the season. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. I know the portal is closed, and I don't think bringing in a running back right now that you know is going to be RB3 and that's your pitch to him, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Now, the offense is going to be a little bit difficult to learn, okay? He can learn it. Put some trust in him. Believe in him. You believe in him. He does good things for you. It's a win-win for everybody involved. Buckeye fans, man, it feels good to be back. Man, it feels good. It feels good. You're talking about some good players that the Buckeyes have in this room, and also some good players that the Buckeyes should target in the portal. Y'all can follow me on X at JStevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked on Buckeyes here on a Monday, starting a new week. Got a lot of good stuff here coming your way. Y'all want to subscribe to the show so you don't miss a beat.